And we're back in time. Yes, it's time for another episode of the 80s Review Show. So let's get on to it. So, what we're going to be doing on this show is we're going to be focusing on cartoon animated series from the 80s that were very popular not only with children but with adults at the time too, not only because of comic book series but toys and video games and other things that remarks as far as that stuff goes. So what I've done is I've made a couple of adjustments to a list here. So and they're not really is going to be a number system. It's just going to be I'm just going to list them off, and then later on you guys can kind of comment basically in the section below and give me if heads up if you agree with what I have to say. Um, so the first one is Fraggle Rock. Definitely a very interesting series. There was also not only an action movie series uh, with puppets, but there was also a cartoon series as well. Um, I think Jim Henson did a great job, honestly, with all of his Muppet themed TV series. In fact, I would even go as far as saying that the Muppet movies uh, from the 1970s and 80s are very, very well directed and have lots of cameos and celebrities in them. I mean, I know that I grew up, watching some of them myself, and I really enjoyed them. I thought that they were well directed and pretty funny and entertaining. Um, the next one is DuckTales. I mean, DuckTales not only had a great run with the animated series, but you have to incorporate that there was also video games, comic books, I mean, clothing, action figures, and the movie later on as well. I remember going to go see the movie when I was pretty young too in theaters, and I pretty much enjoyed it. I thought it was a decent movie. Let's go into another series that was pretty popular, and that's Transformers. Transformers was another series that honestly has had a lot of success, not only with the spin offs and the movies, but you have to incorporate, again, toys and action figures um, throughout the years. So I was kind of a fan of Transformers. I would say that I like the cartoon a lot more than anything. So, yeah, that's just my opinion on that. The next one on here is Ghostbusters. I mean, Ghostbusters, for God's sakes, that was one of the more popular TV shows. Um, and I mean, it had so much success. I mean, we're talking about it was just everywhere. Plus, later on, you have to incorporate the movies into that situation too. I thought that the cartoon series was really good. Um, I thought it was amazing, honestly, the amount of storylines that they put into it and effort. I was really impressed with the plots and even the later on, even the video games weren't too bad. Um, However, though, I wouldn't play the video games on the NES. They're not very good. But later on, as time went on, this series became much better. Okay, the next one that we're going to talk about is Inspector Gadget. Now, Inspector Gadget, again, was an amazing cartoon series. I believe they even had comic books. I think there might have even been I believe an Inspector Gadget arcade game. I believe at some point in time. Um, yeah, I just think that that people really should have checked that out. I think that it was a really great series. And I wouldn't say anything more other than that. So Where are we here? Hang on here. We're gonna go into the Jetsons. Now, from the 19, I think it's 1974, I believe, up until 86, I think. Yes. So there were quite a variety of different seasons to the show. Um, and plus, there was the Flintstones Meet the Jetsons, which was a really interesting crossover movie as well. Um, and actually, the Flintstones is going to be on here as well, and Yogi Bear, because those were also, very popular. And then the Looney Tunes show as well, that should be on here. Those are a few other ones that we're going to be discussing as well. I just wanted to mention some of those real fast too, because those are worth watching too. Um, where am I at now? Chippendale's Rescue Rangers definitely needs to be on here. That was another one that was really popular. We're talking about like there was a NES game. Um, I mean, the series was really, really funny and entertaining. Um, now, let me think here. And obviously, the people who were into like GI Joe, for example, that's definitely on here as well. GI Joe was another series that was well known. Um, Definitely great plots and action to that. Um, I'm gonna say Garfield and Friends too. That should be on here as well. You know, I don't know. I think that that's another series that lots of people know when they've watched it because of all the different specials. Um, the Charlie Brown Show was another one that should be on here that I think that most people should know. There was at least 8 specials, I believe, in the '80s that they did, where they did crossovers and things like that. Um, Now there are shows like Gem and the Holograms. For all the ladies out there, my sister was obsessed with that show and she used to watch it all the time. Um, and I got to be honest, I didn't think it was that terrible. I mean, she used to watch stuff like Pound Puppies, which wasn't too terrible either. So, I mean, I really do think that the '80s were just a whole different variety as far as entertaining us with cartoon series. Um, Now, you also have to incorporate, like, there were pretty decent children's movies that were out back then, too. I mean, so I think that the '80s definitely had their good points as far as cartoons go. In the next episode, we're going to be focusing on '80s, basically animated movies, and then we're going to be working our way into like kids and family movies, like Goonies and a few other movies as well. We're going to be doing reviews on them. So this is another episode of the Ages Review Show. I just wanted to come back and do this wonderful cartoon list and see what your thoughts are. If there's any cartoons I missed that you guys want to talk about, go ahead and comment below. I'm more than willing to talk about any cartoons that you think should be mentioned on here. Go ahead and list them below. Hit the add button, and I will be back.